So we're going to do a little video about these ultraviolet lights. Now, I had purchased this guy off of Amazon. Okay, 15, 20 bucks, something like that, maybe 10, I don't know. This was what I've been using since October of last year to try to identify tagged stamps. And I'm at this page in my album here. You know, I put a little thing explaining tagged stamps. They glow, they're luminescent, phosphorescent, whatever. So I had, using this light, determined that all of these ones were not tagged and that these 6 were tagged. Turns out totally wrong. There's different wavelengths of ultraviolet light, and that totally matters, and Mystic is well aware of it, which I wasn't. And so they sell this light. So I decided to pick this guy up just to quit second guessing myself, because it was just difficult with this. I was just unsure constantly if it was working right. So I got this guy. Yeah, 60, 70 bucks, not cheap, but it has both wavelengths, right? It's got this big kind of light on the side, which is the less bright wavelength. And then they've got this one on the end, which is a brighter, different wavelength. So you use apparently both of them to look at stamps. It turns out these particular Andrew Jackson stamps, they take the 254, the lower wavelength. So let me show you guys. By the way, I got some cool new smart light bulbs. Check this out. Alexa, bedroom lights off. Oh man, isn't that freaking convenient? Okay, so we're gonna turn on our ultraviolet light and start skimming through, and boom, pretty much immediately it is blatantly obvious which ones are tagged. So go figure. Look, this is my non-tagged section here. That guy's tagged, that guy's tagged, that guy's tagged, and then the ones that I actually thought were tagged are not. They're not even tagged. Those 3 are not tagged, and those 3 are not tagged. So holy crap, I completely misidentified those stamps. This Washington here is tagged, which I didn't know about, and that means that I'm gonna have to go verify in the catalog again if it has its own number, like a, you know, I bet you it's gonna end up being sorry, what is this? I can't read it. Number 1213, you know, so it's probably gonna be like 1213A, this guy, because it's tagged. So yeah, definitely worth investing in a proper light to identify these things, and it just makes a world of difference. I mean, there's just no doubt about it, right? Done deal. That stamp is tagged. So this is worth it. If you're really into stamps, yeah, it's worth the money. Alexa, lights on. So something to consider, you know? It's just going to save you time. I mean, if you're doing things like, like building an album, I mean, yeah, I was dead wrong with those, so I figured I'd share. Now I get to reorganize all the stamps that I thought were tagged and stuff throughout the rest of the album. But I figured I'd share. That definitely, I immediately am so glad that I bought the proper light and quit, you know, dicking around with this other thing. I'm actually going to take this to work because I can probably use this for AC troubleshooting, looking at ultraviolet dye and leaks and air conditioning in automobiles. I'm a mechanic, if you don't know. So at least this isn't worthless, but yeah, not for stamps. Lesson learned. Okay, so I just made what was, for me, a few moments ago, a pretty jaw-dropping discovery. I never, ever would have guessed that the ultraviolet light does not make it through the clear plastic on these pages. So, wow, that was pretty amazing. Here, let me show you. Alexa, bedroom off.
Okay.
So we're going to use this guy, and one of these. So pretty much this row. As I hover over, you would say none of them are tagged, and then once you slip up, let me just do this here. I'm going to set this down, and lift this up, and son of a gun, look at those two are tagged, both on the ends. I mean, what the heck? I cannot believe that's how that works. So I just had to share because, wow. I was just skimming through all these pages, thinking that I was determining with my proper light that these were tagged or not, and that was incredibly false. Now, these are black Vario 8S pages, so then I have these clear pages as well. So this is worth checking out, right? I just pulled the tag stamps out of that other black page, and I'll be darned, you can't tell. Even with the clear pages, you really can't tell. See that? Crazy. You just never would have guessed. So, little tip for you. So I just wanted to mention, I had an epiphany that, of course, right, to protect these stamps, they must have made these block ultraviolet rays, since light degrades stamps. So it's just something I didn't think about. Go figure.